Lucas pulled his hoodie over his head and pressed his headphones tighter. The loud music was his only shield against the whispers and laughter that always followed him through the school hallways. At 17, he was already used to being an easy target, the guy who preferred games over parties, who spent his breaks watching gameplay videos on his phone instead of talking to classmates. The nickname Loser Nerd echoed in his mind. Did they think he didn't hear? Did they think their words didn't hurt? But Lucas pretended not to care. He kept his head down and walked his path, ignoring the shoves in the hallway, the looks of disdain, and the cruel jokes whispered behind his back. The only thing that mattered to him was League of Legends. In the virtual world, he wasn't just a voiceless, friendless student. In LOL, he was Shadow Hunter, an elite player with lightning-fast reflexes and impeccable strategy. His name was already circulating in some communities, and he knew his talent was rare. Playing was his way of escaping reality, a safe haven in the chaos of his school life. But even that didn't seem enough anymore. The bullying was getting worse. That particular day, Lucas had hit rock bottom, a day of humiliation. During gym class, the teacher decided to form teams for a soccer game. As always, Lucas was one of the last picks. The players groaned and rolled their eyes upon realizing they had to play with him. He tried to ignore it, but the murmurs were too loud. This guy only knows how to use a mouse. He won't last 2 minutes running. Careful, nerd. Soccer doesn't have an Alt plus F4. Lucas clenched his fists. The ball came his way, and he attempted a quick pass. But before he could complete the move, an opposing player knocked him to the ground with a disguised push. The collective laughter echoed through the gym. Ha! He fell just like he does when he loses in his little game. He got up without saying anything, his face burning with shame. Inside, he wanted to scream, to fight back, to run away. But he did nothing. He just waited for class to end, enduring the stares and whispers that followed him all the way to the locker room. When he finally got home, he rushed up the stairs, shut his bedroom door, and collapsed into his chair. He took a deep breath. The PC was there, his comfort zone, his world. But for the first time, he felt empty. What was the point of being good at LOL if, outside of it, he was still a loser? Lucas spent a few minutes staring at the screen, his friends list flashing in the corner. He thought about quitting, deleting his account, never playing again. But in a last impulsive act, he decided to play one ranked match. Maybe it would be his farewell, the play of his life. He picked his favorite champion, a fast and lethal assassin. The game started, and within the first few minutes, Lucas realized he was facing high-level opponents. But something inside him ignited. The anger, the pain, the frustration. He turned it all into absolute focus. The match was intense. His team was at a disadvantage, on the verge of defeat. But then, in a moment of pure genius, Lucas saw an opening. He infiltrated the enemy's territory, eliminated 3 opponents in a perfect sequence, and single-handedly turned the game around. The chat exploded. WTF? What was that play? Someone clipped that. That was insane. Shadow Hunter, you're a beast. Adrenaline coursed through his veins. For the first time that day, he smiled. That's when he noticed something different. A private message had arrived. It wasn't from a friend or an ordinary player. Hey, Shadow Hunter, you have talent. Have you ever thought about playing professionally? Lucas frowned. Who was this guy? A scout? Someone trying to trick him? His heart raced. Could this be the chance he never imagined having? Or just another illusion? Lucas stared at the message on his screen, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. His heart pounded in his chest. Was this real? Was someone actually inviting him to play professionally? His first instinct was to doubt it. It had to be some kind of joke or scam. Who are you? He typed cautiously. A few seconds later, a reply popped up. My name is Raphael. I'm a scout for a professional eSports team in Sao Paulo. I saw your play. You have serious talent. We're holding tryouts for a new player. Are you interested? Lucas felt a surge of adrenaline. He had spent years perfecting his skills in League of Legends, but the idea of playing professionally had always seemed like a distant dream, something only for the best of the best. Could he really be good enough? The dilemma. As much as he wanted to say yes, doubts flooded his mind. What if this is a prank? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? The fear of failure was overwhelming. He had spent his whole life being ridiculed at school, mocked for being a nerd. What if he took this opportunity and embarrassed himself? The thought made his stomach churn. Before he could reply, he heard a knock on his bedroom door. It was his mother. "Lucas, dinner's ready. Come eat." "I'm not hungry," he muttered. "You need to eat, honey. You've been on that computer all day." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'll be down in a bit." As soon as he heard her footsteps fade away, he turned back to the screen. The cursor blinked on the chat window. This could be his one chance to change his life. Did he really want to throw it away? Taking a deep breath, he typed 2 words. "I'm in." The opposition grows. The next day at school, Lucas tried to keep his excitement to himself, but he couldn't stop thinking about the tryouts. He had never been to Sao Paulo before. He had never even met another pro player in real life. What if they laughed at him? Unfortunately, his distraction made him an easy target. As he walked through the hallway, he heard the familiar voices behind him. "Hey, nerd! Still wasting your life on that stupid game?" One of the bullies sneered. Lucas clenched his fist but didn't respond. He had learned a long time ago that fighting back only made things worse. "You'll never be anything. Just a loser hiding behind a screen." The words stung more than he cared to admit. But this time, something was different. This time, he had a chance to prove them wrong. Ignoring the laughter behind him, he walked faster toward his next class, determination growing inside him. He would prove them wrong. He would prove everyone wrong. No more running. No more hiding. He was going to Sao Paulo. Lucas stepped off the bus and took a deep breath. Sao Paulo was nothing like his small town. The city pulsed with energy, towering buildings and endless movement. But he wasn't here to admire the skyline. He was here to prove himself. The gaming house was more than he expected. A sleek, modern building adorned with neon accents, buzzing with the energy of competition. He hesitated at the entrance, nerves creeping in. Was he really ready for this? The door swung open, and a tall guy with a confident smirk greeted him. "You must be Lucas." "I'm Diego, the team captain. Welcome to your new reality. The tryouts begin." Lucas was ushered into a massive gaming setup. Rows of high-end PCs, monitors glowing with synchronized RGB lights. The air smelled of energy drinks and determination. Other players were already warming up, eyes glued to their screens. "Here's the deal," Diego explained. "You have 3 days to prove you belong here. We don't care about past achievements, only what you can do now. Show us what you've got." Lucas nodded, swallowing his nerves. He sat down at an open station, cracked his knuckles and logged in. The game loaded, and suddenly, the outside world didn't matter anymore. This was his battlefield. The first match was brutal. His teammates were pros, coordinated, efficient, unforgiving. Every mistake was punished, every hesitation exploited. By the end of the game, he felt drained. "Too slow," the coach muttered. "You rely too much on mechanics. This isn't solo queue. This is a team game." Lucas bit his lip. He knew he had talent, but this was a different level. If he wanted to make it, he had to adapt fast. The pressure builds. The next day, Lucas woke up to the sound of alarms and footsteps rushing through the hallway. The team had a strict training schedule, and he was expected to keep up. 12 hours of practice. Scrims against other teams. Reviewing game footage. It was exhausting, but exhilarating. Yet, doubts lingered. Every misplay, every mistake weighed on him. He could feel the pressure from his teammates. Some respected him. Others whispered behind his back. Diego pulled him aside after practice. "You've got skills, but skill alone won't cut it. You need to communicate better. Trust your team. Lucas nodded. He had spent so long relying only on himself. Changing that wouldn't be easy. The breaking point. By the third day, Lucas was mentally and physically drained. His hands trembled from overuse. His focus wavered. And then, during a critical team fight, he hesitated. A single mistake. A lost game. The room fell silent. The coach sighed. If this was a real match, we'd be out of the tournament. Lucas stared at the screen, feeling the crushing weight of failure. Was he really cut out for this? Diego clapped a hand on his shoulder. One last chance. We have an evaluation match tomorrow. Show us what you're made of. Lucas exhaled slowly. This was it, his moment of truth. No more doubts. No more hesitation. Tomorrow, he would either prove he belonged or walk away forever. Lucas woke up feeling the weight of the day ahead. Today's evaluation match would determine if he had a place on the team or if he would return home as just another player who couldn't handle the pressure. He forced himself out of bed, stretched his sore fingers, and grabbed an energy drink from the mini fridge. The others were already awake, preparing for another grueling day of training. The gaming house had a strict routine. Wake up, breakfast, strategy meeting, practice, scrims, more practice, and finally, review sessions. It was exhausting, but Lucas was determined to push himself beyond his limits. The hardest training yet. Before the match, the team ran through drills. Lucas had to refine his timing, adjust his reactions, and anticipate opponents' movements. The coach wasn't holding back anymore. Your mechanics are solid, but that means nothing if you don't synergize with the team, the coach barked. You need to trust them, communicate faster, and stop hesitating. Lucas took a deep breath and nodded. He knew that his playstyle was aggressive, sometimes reckless, but adapting to teamwork was proving to be his biggest challenge. He had to listen, had to predict not just his opponents, but his own teammates' movements. Every mistake he made was pointed out. Every hesitation was scrutinized. He was used to playing alone, but now he had to prove he could play as part of a unit. During one of the last drills, Diego, the team captain, pulled him aside. Dude, you have the talent, but talent isn't enough here. You need to grind. You need to work twice as hard because you're the new guy. Lucas wiped the sweat from his forehead and nodded again. He wouldn't let this slip away. The evaluation match begins. The time had come. Lucas sat at his station, heart pounding. This wasn't just another game. This was his shot at proving that he belonged here. The opposing team was strong, an academy team known for crushing rookies. Their coordination was nearly flawless, their strategies airtight. Lucas had faced tough players before, but this was different. These weren't just good players. They were professionals. The match started off rough. Lucas's team fell behind early due to a few misplays. He could feel the tension building. Every time he made a small mistake, his teammates' voices cut through his headset. Lucas, you're hesitating. Play faster, stop overthinking. The pressure was mounting, but then something clicked inside him. He started playing instinctively, trusting his gut, and most importantly, trusting his team. He called out plays, adapted his strategy, and executed precise moves that turned the tide. His champion danced through team fights, securing kills and setting up objectives. He wasn't just reacting anymore. He was controlling the game. The match reached a climactic moment. Both teams were evenly matched, and the next big fight would decide everything. Lucas saw an opportunity, an opening that others might miss. This is it, he muttered. He made the call, leading his team into battle. It was a split-second decision, but the execution was flawless. They wiped the enemy team and secured the final objective. The game was over. Victory and consequences. As the victory screen flashed, Lucas leaned back, exhaling deeply. The room was silent for a moment before Diego burst out laughing. That was insane, he shouted. You actually carried that fight. The coach, who had been critical of Lucas since day one, simply nodded. You're still raw. You still have a lot to learn. But you've got something. Welcome to the team. Relief and pride washed over Lucas. He had done it. He had proved himself. But he knew this was just the beginning. The real battle was yet to come. Being on the team meant more pressure, more training, and bigger challenges. As he logged out and stretched his aching fingers, Lucas knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going home. He was here to stay. Lucas sat in the gaming house's dimly lit practice room, his fingers gripping the mouse tightly. The upcoming match wasn't just another scrim. It was the regional finals. If they won, he would officially cement his place in the professional scene. If they lost, his journey might end before it even truly began. The tension was palpable. The entire team had been preparing for this, pushing themselves beyond exhaustion. The coach's expectations were high, and Lucas could feel the pressure mounting. He had fought to be here, proving himself day after day, but now, everything was on the line. The championship match begins. As the countdown began, Lucas took a deep breath. He was in his element. The enemy team was one of the strongest in the region, known for their methodical playstyle. The match started aggressively, with both teams fighting for early control. Every move, every second mattered. Lucas's role was crucial. He was playing his signature champion, one he had mastered through countless hours of practice. The enemy team focused on shutting him down early, testing his resilience. His opponents were relentless, predicting his movements, cutting off his escape routes. It felt like they had studied every aspect of his gameplay. The first 20 minutes were brutal. His team struggled to keep up, and for the first time, doubt crept into Lucas's mind. He had always relied on his instincts, but against opponents of this caliber, it wasn't enough. "Focus, Lucas," Diego shouted through the headset. "You've got this. Trust yourself." Lucas took a deep breath. He couldn't let the pressure get to him. He reviewed the map, looking for a weakness in the enemy's formation. Then, he saw it, a small opening, a chance to turn the tide. The comeback. Lucas made the call. His team hesitated for a moment, but followed his lead. He executed a daring maneuver, slipping past enemy lines and ambushing their star player. The kill sent a shockwave through the game. The momentum shifted. With renewed energy, the team pushed forward. Lucas was in the zone, predicting enemy moves, setting up plays, and dismantling their strategy piece by piece. The casters' voices grew excited. The audience watching live started buzzing. Lucas could feel it. This was his moment. As the game entered the late stages, the tension escalated. The score was even, and one final battle would decide the winner. The enemy team set up for a major objective, preparing for the final push. Lucas made the call again. He knew it was risky, but it was their best shot. The team executed the plan flawlessly. Lucas maneuvered through the fight, eliminating key targets. His hands moved with precision, instincts guiding him. Then, in a moment of brilliance, he landed a game-winning play, wiping out the remaining opponents and securing victory for his team. The victory screen flashed. The aftermath. The gaming house erupted in cheers. Lucas leaned back, exhaling sharply. The exhaustion hit him all at once, but he didn't care. They had done it. Diego clapped him on the back. "That was insane. You just put yourself on the map, man." The coach, who had been skeptical of Lucas from the beginning, gave a rare nod of approval. "You've got what it takes," he said simply. Lucas's phone buzzed with notifications, messages from fans, interview requests, offers. He stared at the screen, realizing that his life had changed forever. As he stepped out of the practice room, he looked up at the screen displaying the championship bracket. His team's name was at the top. They were champions. He had proved to everyone, including himself, that he belonged here. And this was only the beginning. Lucas sat in front of his screen, the glow illuminating his face as he scrolled through the flood of messages on social media. Overnight, his following had exploded. Fans, analysts, and even professional players were talking about his performance. He had gone from being an unknown rookie to a rising star in the competitive scene. His name was on every eSports news outlet. Shadow Hunter, the future of competitive gaming, and Lucas Almeida's road to glory were just some of the headlines. It felt surreal. Just weeks ago, he was a nobody struggling to find his place. Now, he was being recognized by some of the best players in the world, officially a pro player. The team's management wasted no time. The day after their victory, Lucas was called into a meeting. The team CEO, a middle-aged man with sharp eyes and an authoritative voice, slid a contract across the table. "We believe in your potential, Lucas," he said. "This contract makes you an official member of the team. Your salary, sponsorships, and tournament bonuses will be detailed here. Welcome to the big leagues." Lucas picked up the pen, his hand trembling slightly. This was it. Signing this meant that gaming wasn't just a passion anymore. It was his career. He hesitated for only a second before scribbling his name at the bottom. The CEO shook his hand firmly. "You've earned this. But the hard work is just beginning." Facing the realities of professional eSports. With his contract signed, Lucas's life changed dramatically. His schedule became relentless. Morning gym sessions to keep his body sharp, team meetings to discuss strategies, endless hours of practice. The pressure was even greater now that he had a reputation to uphold. Every match was scrutinized, every mistake magnified by thousands of fans and analysts online. The media attention was overwhelming. Interview requests poured in, and his face appeared on promotional material for upcoming tournaments. The spotlight was both exhilarating and terrifying. He wasn't just playing for himself anymore. He was playing for his team, for the fans, for the sponsors. Doubts crept in late at night. Could he sustain this level of performance? Would he burn out? But every time he second-guessed himself, he remembered the lonely kid who spent nights grinding in his room, the kid who was told he'd never amount to anything. He had proved them wrong once. He wasn't about to stop now. A message to his past. One evening, Lucas received an unexpected message from an old classmate, the same person who had once bullied him for being a nerd who played games all day. "Hey, man, just wanted to say, I saw your match. You were insane. Congrats." Lucas stared at the message, a mix of emotions swirling inside him. He could still hear the laughter, the insults, the times he had doubted himself because of people like that. But now, none of it mattered. Instead of responding with anger or resentment, he simply replied, "Thanks," because at the end of the day, he wasn't proving anything to them anymore. A new chapter begins. Months later, Lucas found himself standing on a stage in front of a roaring crowd. The biggest tournament of the year was about to begin, and he was no longer the rookie fighting for a spot. He was a starter, a key player for his team, ready to take on the world's best. As the cameras zoomed in on him, the announcer spoke his name, hyping up the audience. He took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the arena, the weight of his journey. He thought about every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt. It had all led to this. Lucas adjusted his headset, met the gaze of his teammates, and gave a determined nod. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. The match started, and with it, the next chapter of his story.